morning. Welcome to TERRA at Home. And today we are having a whole lot of fun, aren't we, Michelle?
We are. We are never too old for bubbles.
No, it's all about bubbles, and this is the best part. So we have cool bubble making machines here at TERRA.
We do.
And I bought this one for my son already, and he basically showed the entire neighborhood. He went up to everybody. He's like, oh!
Yeah, there's some bubbles in there. Show everyone how it works.
It's
pretty
cool.
So
you do a little dip in the tray here. This is what it comes with, like this, right? And then I'll try not to get them all over. That's the problem. You do get a little bit soapy sometimes.
Yeah, you definitely want bubbles outside.
You can see how many it makes, and it's so much fun. The wind is clearly moving this way, but that's the best part. This is just like a little battery-operated thing, and look how many bubbles that makes.
And the occupation, like it keeps them occupied for such a long time.
Which we know is very key for small ones.
Yes.
And for big people too.
It's fun. Don't you find yourself though that you want to actually do stuff too? And I remember when I was little, and you just got like the little tiny wand that comes in the bubble machine, and you're like. Right? And you're like, oh, there you go.
But oh, have we come so far?
There's so many things. So we have the little bubble machine with the batteries, and then I think these are really cute.
So you're laughing at me because I was testing this out before we started shooting, and I didn't really believe it was going to work. And you're like, of course it's going to work, right? So, but yeah, you do a little dip. Well, check this out. So all you're doing is squeezing, and look at how many bubbles just a little guy like that makes.
Save your air.
All it is, it's like manual labor, but it doesn't take much.
It doesn't take much at all.
Very cute.
And they're different sizes, which I think is great too, right? So there's all different wands and different things. We've got these really neat ones that some of them are stars, some of them are butterflies, some of them are circles, so they blow big bubbles. I'm going to show you this one, and I'm a little afraid because I've already sprayed some people here. But look at the size of these bubbles.
That's awesome.
They're just so much.
But it didn't really take much effort, as you could see. You literally, I mean, if you've got wind on your side, just a little bit, it works.
Exactly. And same with these ones. These long.
I want to see that one.
This one is quite neat too.
Okay.
I'm gonna. I don't know. Should I blow it? No, we'll go like this.
Just
there you go.
Well, yeah, you can see.
And it gets some multiples.
But it does. It's so much fun. Whoa.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if I have this, like, do I have danger pay? I hope I have danger pay right now. Honestly, Michelle.
My daughter likes to bring them in the house, and I'm like, no bubbles in the house.
That's right, no bubbles in the house, because we do know it makes a little bit of a mess, and then people slip and fall and whatever.
Yeah,
so outside fun,
cool.
And that's what we're talking about right now, because it's summertime,
and we finally have some nice weather,
yes.
and it's enjoyable. I know we had a party not so long ago, and all the little ones, we have a big bucket, big tubby plastic bucket, and I just threw all kinds of bubble stuff in there.
Sure.
And that's all they did, all night long, because they're all trying different ones, and they're figuring them all out. And then they discovered that I made different ones that had different smells.
Well, you're just so creative.
So
I didn't even think about
that is another thing with bubbles that's so cool. Like, you typically get, the little bottles with any of the products that you buy with bubbles.
Right, you get these guys.
You can buy the big jugs in various different locations, but it's so easy to make at home, and you typically have all the ingredients in your kitchen anyway.
Right.
So, quite honestly, this is a cherry one.
Okay.
I really like the magic soaps from Dr. Bromer's because they're concentrated.
Yes.
So you just have to add a little bit and then the water.
Okay.
And then this one's a lemon basil. Come on, adults
That's
love
hilarious.
that smell. This is the recipe that comes on the back of the card that these ones come on.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of neat because it has corn syrup in it, so it does go a little bit of a darker color. So they're kind of neat, but it's literally so simple that I'm going to show. Oh, and we have lavender, which I love at night.
That's neat.
Give the bubbles lavender one at night, calming,
for the kids
right?
Sleep.
So all you need is literally tablespoon dish soap.
Okay.
Done. I usually do 2, so I'm going to do 2 just because that's what I prefer.
Well, it does help when there's a little bit more soap. It makes the bubbles.
It does make them a little bit better.
It makes more bubbles,
A little bit better. A teaspoon of sugar, which kind of, again,
okay, I didn't think about the sugar part.
Yep. It just holds it together. I'm not really sure what it is.
All right.
And a teaspoon of glycerin, which you can find at any drugstore.
Okay.
It's simple, or do the corn syrup. Either or just adds that sort of like a little bit of a binding thing.
Okay.
And a cup of water, and you're done.
Nice.
And there's your bubble mixture for said little bubble bottle or whatever. I don't shake them because shaking bubbles.
Yeah, shaking bubbles.
So I just kind of mix them up with a whisk.
Okay.
And there you go.
And
you got your bubble recipe.
You could add, as you say, if you're using a scented soap already, or you could add an essential oil, I guess, as well, right?
Yep. We can even add the peppermint. When you're adding these ones, you can add whatever amounts that you want. Oh, of course, I didn't open that one, so we're gonna add the lavender instead. And I just put in a couple of drops adds the scent. Mix it up again.
That's a great idea to add scent. I mean, you know, really.
Well, and you can add color too.
Oh,
isn't that lovely?
It is lovely.
And you can add color too. I don't really like adding the color because I don't really want the color coming off on the patio furniture and stuff.
Yeah,
but if you're out at a park, it's a lot of fun. You could do reds and blues and purples, and it's literally a drop of food coloring.
Just a food
and that's all you need.
Okay.
But nowadays, there's so many soaps that are available in colors anyways, like dish soaps, that you can almost get away with just buying different colored dish soaps to do it.
But you know what, though, as you say, it really is good entertainment from really literally babies love bubbles, and then it continues on. Really, you can entertain it pretty much anybody, but it is something good. I do that with my son. I'm like, here's a bunch of bubbles. Let's shift over from you riding your scooter all over the place, and let's have a little bubble moment, right? And it's amazing how the kids just gravitate.
They do, and like you said, all ages. Like 13-year-old on the weekend, she's having just as much fun as the 2-year-olds are, right? So it's great.
Yeah, well, that's what I love about you know, always buying things here and there at TERRA, but all these the whole little kids department that we have, and all these different little fun little things that you can get. It's great because, you know, you're buying stuff for your garden and you're going around and walking around, and, you know, there's all kinds of great little you know, candle holders and stuff like that, but then you see all these little kid things. We have little kid tables and you know, from rubber boots, and really it's just it's a fun little spot to stop, and again, something like this is just such a cute little treat for even Nana to give
it's not expensive, so you're leaving the garden center with something to occupy them for an hour in the afternoon.
Or maybe if you want to stay
you
at
can
TERRA
open
longer, you open it up at TERRA and let them blow bubbles all over the place.
There's an idea.
Make the place smell good too, particularly if it's like scented ones. So lots of really good ideas and options. And again, it's really, as you say, it's easy. Now, a lot of people will just take water and add soap. Which you can do. Doable.
It's doable. I just found that after trying different things, that if you added the sugar, if you added the corn syrup, you did get bigger bubbles in some cases, or you got more bubbles out of it. And then one of the big keys is leaving it overnight. So you can't make this and then you can, but you're not going to get the success of the bubbles as much as you would
these
as
are
an overnight.
We need to know, Michelle.
No, they're handy, right? Thank you, Internet, for the world that we live in.
I know.
But yeah, no. I tested it myself because I did one that a friend of mine gave me that you could catch the bubble.
Yes.
And I was like, And I did the mixture, and I went outside and I tried it, and it didn't really blow anything. So I was like, And then a week later, I pulled that jar out and did it, and it was awesome. So it's just giving it time. It's like curing paint.
Okay, all right, and it's all that easy just to have some summer fun, and then that's what it's about, because our summer is just this long. So you got to get out there and make bubbles. All right, let's make bubbles. You ready? Are you gonna make a big one?
I'm gonna make a big one.
All right, I'll do this one, and you make that one as we head off to break. We'll be back with more TERRA at Home. Oh my goodness! Don't hit the customers. They might like it. Be right back. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of TERRA. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives.
Heritage Perennials. Look for us in the blue pots.
Good morning, welcome to TERRA at Home. I'm here with Dave Maciulis from Natural Landscape Magazine, and I have your latest issue in my hand right now, and we are in a beautiful environment right now, this great backyard. But what's really cool about it is the family that lives here decided they wanted to have a hot tub. But this is a very different looking kind of hot tub because it's integrated into the landscape.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about this, because this is kind of the new look, the new wave for people. And once they see this, they're like, they don't want to have those big old beasts in their backyard anymore. Popped out
No,
of the
not
ground.
sticking up in front of your face. And,
Yeah.
and this particular fiberglass in the ground, kind of like a swimming pool, but really it's a hot tub.
Right.
And it's actually a Canadian manufacturer, H2Zen. And it's quite a great design. You have it's just like a mini pool.
Yes.
But like I said, it can be turned into a natural body of water, and it's not obtrusive within the landscape. It actually fits within the serene look of the landscape.
So this could be a good alternative for people, you know, that maybe had a pool. Some people have a pool and a hot tub, or trying to integrate both together.
Yeah.
This is maybe the next step. If this is just maybe all you want, you can keep it on a slightly cooler temperature if you like.
That's right.
And then crank it up at night if you want. But the great part about it is, again, as you say, it looks so natural. It looks like this natural little body of water.
Yeah.
And in such a beautiful backyard with all the great foliage and just natural stone and rock, why would you want to have something that didn't just blend right in?
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Well, it's even like my first time experiencing something of that resort feeling down at a bread and breakfast in a winery section, and I was just like taken in awe that this is such a nice, serene feel, intimate feel.
Yes.
And it's something that when this came out onto our Canadian market, it was like I had to start designing these into the landscape, because here you're getting that resort feel. You position it into a yard that gives it more of an intimate feel, as again of that obtrusive feel that we have from those hot tubs that sit on top side.
Exactly.
And that's what I just really love about it. It fits within the landscape.
Well, that's the best part. You know, as a landscape designer yourself, you must have been really excited about something like this, because it just gives you yet another option.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
again, it's easier to work with.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Than a big beast sitting there. So also being able to have a waterfall adds, again, we always love that sound. It's a real great sort of environment to
Very
be in.
soothing
It
sound.
is. It is. Okay, so let's talk about the shape of this. So they do come in different shapes. Like this is just sort of very kind of more feeling like irregular, which is nice, right? Because, you know, but you can get it in more of a square or rectangle.
Well, there's 4 shapes. So there's 2 rectangular series. So if you have a little bit more of a contemporary feel.
Right.
And then they have these 2 that are more like an oasis
Right.
or a little
so
beam.
more just sort of in that natural.
For the curves and the natural type of setting.
Exactly, because you're right. Because some people are very, very modern and they want everything to be very squared off, and you know, maybe a Japanese design in their backyard.
That's
and
right.
just really clean lines, right?
Yeah.
So that's the great part, is you get different looks. In terms of size, how are we looking at? Do they get much bigger than this one, or are they all around this size?
The larger Roman one is, and it was going in inches, like 127 inches by 81 inches.
So it can be much bigger than this.
Yeah, yeah. So this is your more conservative size.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed that they all can also be built into a deck environment.
That's
even
right.
though, so this is stone that we're all, but it can be integrated into
a deck, into your patio, or just even set within the garden space. And stepping stones that lead over to it, so it actually looks like a pond.
Right.
And that's what was being done here, is that
It
you
totally
have the
looks like a
pond,
pond.
the jet return, so that what you're seeing with the waterfall
Yes.
is just the plumbing of the jet return cascading over like a natural waterfall.
You feel like when you look in, you should see goldfish swimming around in here, but
Yeah.
it's a little too warm for that.
Fish soup.
Right, exactly. So lighting as well,
Yes.
and not just, again.
Oh, the nighttime in here, and again, it's just, well, when you set the lights off the waterfall, and the lights that come in from the bottom of the hot tub, and it illuminates at night, so it's not bright.
Right.
It just has this illuminating, soothing feel.
I feel you're in some grotto or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's right.
It's a really kind of a cool, and again, with all this type of environment, as soon as you walk in the backyard, I mean, this is definitely one of the focal pieces, right? It just, again, you know what I like about it too? So you can use this year round.
Yes.
Okay, because I know that when I've talked to people before, and they're like, well, I don't know if you can use those year round because it's different. It doesn't have a lid, right?
Yeah. Actually, we custom make lids
Do
for
you?
these.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can have a lid for this, just like a hot tub cover.
All right.
You set the temperature at the setting that runs just like a year-round hot tub. During the summer months, if you want it like a dipping pool, as you mentioned, we can turn down the
Cool it
heat,
down a little bit.
and it becomes a nice cooling off pool.
So again, now is this, what in terms of the actual chemicals? Do you use salt water? Do you use bromine, chlorine, combination
Chlorine
of?
or bromine, it
Okay.
depends on the system. You can actually, just like swimming pools, you can do saltwater systems, but
Okay.
you got to be really careful. Most of the saltwater systems are built for big pools. So you really have to investigate your range of the use of salt water. In this particular case, you can go bromine, which I prefer myself.
Yes.
Chlorine traditionally is what people had, but there's issues with your skin. So
Sure.
you got to actually suit it for what you're going to react to.
Okay.
Yeah.
In terms of maintenance, is it very similar to taking care of a hot tub that's above ground?
It's a miniature version of a swimming pool.
Okay.
So you have your skimmer return, you have your pump. Once in a while, you got to clean the filter. In some cases, you can backwash it unless you're using cartridge filters. You clean them out twice a year. So very low maintenance, just like a hot tub.
Okay. Now, so if someone was interested in getting one of these, you said it was a Canadian company,
Yeah.
and I know that you actually have an advertisement in your magazine
Yeah.
for them. But how would someone go about getting one of these into their yard?
Well, you can go online, so you look for H2Zen, and there's actually listed dealers
Okay.
that are sort of, in a sense, geographically territory for installation, and they'll link you up. So H2Zen has already kind of qualified the people that do these installations, because not just anybody is going to install this type of hot
Well,
tub.
that's what I'm thinking. This is because of the nature of this. This needs to be. This is very specific.
Yes.
You know, to get.
Yeah. So there is one rated for the local area
Okay.
within the GTA and Golden Horseshoe, and so like I say, just go onto H2Zen's website,
Okay.
and you'll find the one listed for you.
Okay. Now, is there a place where this just wouldn't work? Like there are environments where you wouldn't be able to make this work?
You know what? I haven't had a challenge yet presented in front of me where I can't make it work. So really, though, you have to look at your regulations, your bylaw codes. So within the city of Hamilton or whatever city municipality, allowing for, because this is really just like a swimming pool.
Right. So that's
So-
what you're looking at it more as a swimming pool almost than a hot tub, even though it's.
Yeah. So you'd have to look at the restrictions. So you know, with people having smaller homes, smaller backyards,
Yes.
I haven't had yet anybody that owns like a semi or a townhouse attached.
Right.
And you have to look at the land use and your property managers
thinking.
for that type of allowance. But here in this wonderful residence that we have here in Ancaster, it's just
Yeah.
a beautiful space.
Yeah, this is a lucky space, right?
Yeah.
But again, yeah, some people are dealing with really, really small backyards, so you just have to make sure you do check on that.
Yes.
But how perfect would this be? In the smallest little backyard, and you know it firsthand as a
Yeah.
designer that you can take the tiniest little backyard and make it into a haven.
That's right.
And especially if you had something like this, so you've already have your water feature integrated into this. Get some trees, some plants, plant life, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always great talking to you, Dave. Thank you so much again. Dave from Natural Landscape Magazine, a local magazine that really has now basically is national, international. because,
192 stores across Canada.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Great talking to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks to the folks as well. Let it use their lovely backyard. I'm not leaving. I'll be back with more Terra at home. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of Terra. Make your dreams come true at Terra, where color lives.
You've sat under them and built forts in them. You've swung from them and fell out of them. You've even fallen in love under them. Trees have always held a special place in our hearts and memories. A natural beauty, trees will grow with you and your family and bring color and nature into your world. For your assurance of quality, look for trees and shrubs with the Medallion plant tag. Medallion plants, locally grown, the pride of Niagara.
Good morning. Welcome back to Terra at Home. We're here at Sue Ann Staff Winery, and I'm here with Chef Mark Hand, and we are in this beautiful area, and we've talked to Sue Ann a couple of times in the past, even just last week, but on the show. But obviously, you know, there's this big focus, of course, it is a winery, and it is a farm, but it's also a beautiful place to have an event. And boy, do you guys run some events here from, say, what, 50 people to?
We've done from 50 people to last year we did 1,000. It was about 990 something.
That is unbelievable. That is even hard for me to fathom. And I mean, when we're talking about farmland, you forget how much property is here in acreage, and cars can park, and you can separate people from and have this amazing facility here. So
It is
obviously
something.
from weddings to different types of events that people want to hold, and you are the chef at hand.
I am.
Hand.
No pun intended, I guess. I am, and I'm always lucky whenever we get to work with Sue Ann. I mean, and just the family name is so well known in Niagara. So if you want a farm wedding, a winery wedding, there isn't really a better place.
Yeah, good combination.
You can see we're putting in a pad, and the tent will be up all summer long.
Well, that's the cool part,
you can
right?
see it. And,
Yes. Our viewers can't, but you have to come here
Yeah.
and actually see it.
So I mean, 20-something weddings this summer we'll do.
That's
on site as
amazing
well as
to me that
others.
you can even imagine to do that. But again, how do you? I find it timing just for making a meal for 4 people or 6 people or 8 people difficult. But how do you? I mean, obviously you have people that are working with you, and it's all about timing,
Yeah.
and you want to make sure that everybody's kind of receiving their food at the appropriate times.
Yeah,
and-
it is the trick, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's what it's the difference between a home cook, and there's great home cooks.
Sure.
There are people who, and I hope I'm not insulting anyone when I say,
No.
they call themselves a chef.
Right.
But a chef just isn't a cook. It is being able to do just that.
Right.
And that's the challenge for us.
Yes.
It's not a challenge anymore to cook vegetables properly
No.
or roast beef right. It is a challenge when Sue Ann says, let's host a party for 1,000 people. And we go, all right, how are we going to pull that off?
Right.
And we do.
And you do.
Because that's what we do, and it takes a lot of planning.
Sure.
And we're lucky with Feastivities. Peter, our owner, is an event planner. That's his whole world. So
And some people are just so good at that.
yeah,
They're wired
they
for
are.
it.
And he's not like a really fancy planner guy.
Yeah.
It's nuts and bolts. Like, how do
Yeah.
we get this done? And then we pull
you
it
get it
off,
done.
and then we bring in the kind of the pomp and circumstance
Sure.
around it.
And that's
But-
the best part. And you
Yeah.
get to prepare all this food. So you're actually going
I
to
do.
prepare something for us today. We're
Well-
talking about like enjoying your grill, being outdoors.
Yeah, and it's simple. We grill a ton of food. In fact, last weekend we barbecued for 140 at a wedding. And so what do? You have to
Yes.
somehow prepare a little bit in advance. Things like blanching potatoes so that when they're on the grill, they're not rock hard. And
That's a good tip for people. Some people forget that.
yeah,
I wonder
and
why
then
they take
wonder,
3
like,
hours.
yeah, exactly. Why is this forever? We sear off meats first, and just simple little things that people forget: salting and peppering and
Yes.
good oils and herbs. It's just what makes things better
Right.
than what maybe our moms would have done when we were growing up.
Yeah,
and
it's just a
it
little.
was fine.
And that's
you
the
know.
thing. A lot of people forget how you need to season meat. You need to.
Yeah.
It really doesn't have a lot of flavor on its own. Sometimes you have to give it that salt. Salt.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those guys who say no salt and pepper on the tables. Sure. I just hope that the customer doesn't have to use it.
Has to, yeah.
I want the food to go to the guests so that when it smells right, it looks right, and then they eat it and they go. "Ooh." So,
Right.
So I mean, we don't have a lot of pretenses. I'd love to tell you that it's not this way. Beef, red meat is still the #1 choice of brides and grooms. They know it'll satisfy 95% of
That
their guests.
surprises me.
So we do tons of roasted strip loins
And
and
that's what you have,
tenderloins.
right
Yeah,
now?
it's a piece of strip loin. We like to let it relax and just take its time, so it eats more like a tenderloin, but it's
Sure.
got that. I just find strip loin more flavorful.
Yes.
So we use strip loin a lot. We source vegetables locally. I wish I could tell you we do we have a big meat industry in Niagara. We
Right.
don't. We've got some really
No.
good industries,
Yes,
and we
but not
utilize
meat.
them as much
Right.
as we can.
Right.
So,
but use local, and that's what you really, as the
Absolutely, it
season is
is.
changing, as a chef, especially down here, and over the summer into the fall, you have access to a world of.
It's great. We're blessed with so many cool. The seasons are there for us in extremes.
Right.
As we
Right.
can remember back a few months. But it enables us to write menus and design things. I sometimes leave blank spaces, or I'll just say, and regional, seasonal, blah blah blah.
Exactly, 'cause
Because
that's what it is.
depending on how weather goes,
Sure.
that's how we want to cook. So.
Right. Did you want to show us the meat that you actually prepared and what
Sure.
you actually did for us today?
Well, I mean, as it's just sitting relaxing, I mean, if I put that down and it doesn't look like a whole lot, when we roast strip loins, normally a strip loin is like this, and
Yes.
you would cut New York steaks out of it. We do it the other way, where we cut it across, so we end up with this like bistro cut, and it
Beautiful.
allows us to, and let's just dive right into it. If we get there, and it's still like nice and medium, but we're just going to, again, just letting it sit so it's not bleeding out. There's nothing
Right.
worse when you're catering for a big group, and you're plating and whatnot, you don't want to. You want to
Yes,
try to
you
make
don't want
it
your plate
clean
to be full, right?
of blood.
Yeah,
You know, it's not that appetizing,
No, it's
right?
true. But
So-
I know as a chef, you're particular about how that plate's going to come out, and really, people do. The very first presentation of that plate coming down, their eyes are looking
is.
at the presentation, right?
And again, for 900, it's harder. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
But
Can't
when
even imagine,
we do
frankly.
dinners inside,
Yes.
we're taking a lot more time into plating,
Right.
whereas there's sometimes in banquets you have to. So
Sure.
menus are written to do just that.
Okay. Well,
So-
what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to put a nice little plate together, and it's just going to be the epitome of the summer barbecue.
Absolutely.
Right? Don't you think?
It will be.
I think so. So make sure you get those vegetables, you grill them out, and get everything on the barbecue. Use what you can.
I'm on it.
You on it?
Yeah.
Okay, you get on it. We'll take
All
a
right.
quick break. We'll be right back. When I dream in color. When I think of color, I think of TERRA. Make your dreams come true at TERRA, where color lives. All right, we're back at Sue-Ann Staff Winery, and I'm here with Chef Hand, and we are talking about putting together the best barbecue and just having a really great time. Either you have an event here and you get to do it for us,
I get to
or
do
you
it.
could come to our house and do it for us. That'd be great.
Maybe on a Monday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, on your day off, we're
Yeah.
gonna take you. But you know what? Get people on the grills again and enjoy all the summer. What we have is bountiful for us.
Yeah.
And we move through.
Well, like
summer
we were
and fall.
saying, anything seasonal,
Yes.
regional is the best way to go. So we've really simply, the one hint I'll say is whenever you're grilling, less oil. Obviously,
Yes.
you don't want flare-ups and a fire going on. So we've taken some time and grilled these off, and there's no rules
So do you
or
put
regulations.
them sort of in a bowl beforehand and toss them lightly with oil, or?
A little bit,
Okay.
because you do want that.
Just
You want that cooking going on, but
Yes.
you don't want it to. You don't want a bonfire. It's a barbecue.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. You don't want to.
So
And are you seasoning them at the time in the bowl as well, or afterwards?
I am season them. It's almost it's a good habit for cooks to have, right?
Sure.
Like we always season. So there was some seasoning on before,
Okay.
and we'll just finish with more
Salt and pepper?
Salt and pepper.
Yep.
I've made a little, just an herb paste with fresh herbs and a little bit of chili.
That
and I
adds
just
a nice
want,
component.
you know, not a ton. We don't want too much heat, but we certainly want the flavor. And then this is a great olive oil, roasted garlic flavoring, and we'll just
Add a little bit of that.
drizzle a little through there.
Now,
Oh,
we did
might
through the
finish
magic of
too.
television, you actually prepared a plate for us so you can take a look at once you put this all together. Can we just see that just before
Yeah.
we go?
And should I?
There we go. Beautiful. Yeah, you go ahead. You make a plate as well, because it's all about that final product, right? And the way you guys make it look
Well, it is.
as professionals.
And again, it's not really hard. If you've got beautiful vegetables and
Yep.
beautiful things to work with, there's no real secret. You know, if I was to be sitting for dinner and that was brought to me, I would certainly be. I'd be happy.
Yeah,
I'm not,
absolutely. I agree. Well, you know what? We have to run, but thank you so much, and we appreciate it. At least we have that nice final plate. I'd be happy to come here and be a part of your event, so thank you.
My
Thanks,
pleasure.
Chef. All right,
Thank
that's
you.
it for now. And here, have yourself a great weekend.